Kirti Makwana and from Chaudhary University of Science and Technology, which is based in Gujarat, in India. I would be talking about future of workplace management, preparing for the next decade. We are going to see some of the trends, future trends. We have seen there's a lot of change. We have seen because of computerization, connectivity, and data analytics. The world of work is moving at a very fast speed, and we have seen a very prominent influence of COVID-19 pandemic on the way we work. So in future, the shape of the workplace, there are regulatory bodies, responses to change, flexibility, a lot of things are to be coped up by workplace management system, people at top management, middle level management, and obviously employees will have to cope up with that. So there are new norms of way of working in coming future. So we'll be seeing those trends one by one. So I'll be talking about this few trends in very brief. Very first trend that is a buzzword right now is quiet hiring in the world of management. So what quiet hiring is, it is an employee who takes up new roles and responsibility within the same organization, maybe temporary or permanently due to need. Now, that maybe the work the employee is given is maybe out of the comfort zone of an employee. So what organizations are now doing is they are filling up the open positions without publicly advertising them. They go by referral recruitment, or otherwise they go for the technical consultancies and research companies. This is beneficial for employees because it allows them to work on the challenging assignments. It also helps them to expand their current skills, learn new skills, and advance their careers. So it is good for them because it becomes ultimately invaluable for their current organization, and it makes more marketable to the employees, to the others. So this was the first trend. Second is hybrid flexibility. Now, during COVID pandemic, we heard about work from home. Now, as the pandemic is, settling down and all, so organizations have come up with the hybrid work mode. So it is giving better flexibility compared to only work from home or only work from office options. Now, employees are benefiting because it is giving more work-life balance to them. Employees can work whenever they want to work. It hires talent across the globe, and it obviously saves a lot of money for an employer to save on the real estate expenses. The disadvantages of this hybrid mode are like it is harder to collaborate with the employees who are remotely working. And second is it requires a lot of oversight and maintenance to keep it working. And one more is it is not suitable for all the industries. Now there are many technology which are assisting to hybrid mode of working. One is desk booking technology, one is workplace schedule, office wayfinding, office analytics softwares. These are helping to hybrid flexibility. Then squeezed by competing leaders and employees' expectations. The middle level managers are the most direct connection to the company's culture because employees are only looking for them. So they have a lot of pressure from top management and from the employees also, because employees are looking for any kind of expectation to the middle level management. The next is non-traditional candidate expands talent pipeline. Now gone are the days when any candidate is hired just based on the previous experience. Now it is time to rethink the outdated assumption about the qualifications of candidates. It is rather now how comfortable the candidate is ready to work on the given roles and responsibilities. Then healing pandemic trauma, because employees had very bad mental health challenges during and even social, economic, and many turbulences that people have seen during COVID-19. Now employees are expectations are now, they are supposed to be treated empathetically and sympathetically. So employees want their managers, their HR managers, to see them person as a whole rather than just an employee or employee of the organization. So for that, because of that, proactive rest, discussion opportunity to work through challenges and trauma counselors can be hired by organizations in coming future. Then obviously greater focus on DEI option, that is diversity, equity and inclusion, that is a talk of the town right now in the world of corporate. Then getting personal with employee supports create new data risk. As we just discussed that employees are now more, socially connected with HR. A lot of personal details are asked by HR managers many a times after COVID-19. For example, their family details, their vaccination details, maybe some government related documents they were asked to. Even their sleeping patterns were, recorded. So employees have a threat where, when, and how the data that they have submitted to the organizations will be used. And for that, a very important, there is a strong need to develop policies and procedures by the organizations, because till now there was no need of this kind of policies. And how the organizations will maintain the records, and how they were going to restrict the excess of the data that they have collected, personal data that they have collected from the employees. Then many of the organizations are now using, in the world of AI, they are using AI in their hiring process and many other HR related activities. So organization use AI and machine learning, and it is creating more ethical implications of these practices for fairness, diversity, inclusion, data privacy in the coming years. Then Generation Z skills, as we all know that people who just graduated from last 2-3 years, within last 2-3 years, they were less socialized with their colleagues, their peer group and all. So the current recruitees, they are less social, less open to talk and all. So there is a strong need, because that Generation Z has missed out to develop on their soft skills, such as negotiation, networking, speaking confidently in front of crowd, and developing social stamina and attentiveness required to work long hours. So these are the things to be managed for coming years by the organization. Organizations are now using intelligent workplace, where employees can book that space, find the colleagues, and understand offered amenities and benefits for them. Flexible workspaces, because employees are work from home and work from offices. So flexible office space can be choose the area of the office that best suit the type of work that they want to do. For example, somebody is working on some coding and he or she wants very calm place, he can choose the office area accordingly. Then one more concept that is coming up is work near home. Whichever is the nearest office, regardless of your recruiting office or so you can, any employee can go there and complete the work from office timing. Then worker space safety has come up now more prominently after COVID-19, because there is a strong need to emphasize to be given to safety. Now there are in old days, even if let's say an employee is not well and if he or she is coming up in the office, it was considered as the commitment of an employee, that see he is not well, then too because of his commitment he came to the office. But gone are the days, now it is now a liability on the organization if a sick employee comes to the organization for work. So there are some policies and rearrangement of leaves can be thought of in coming future. Then multifunctional workplaces, there might be rearrangeable work furniture and hot desking, and a lot of concepts are coming up for multifunctional workplaces. Human skills are very important nowadays. Because of this, it is, I mean, considering technical skills, also human skills are equally important. 5 most sought after skills that employees are looking for are communication, customer service, leadership, attention to detail, collaboration, and all. And additional human skills are personal learning and mastery, achievement, focus, and culture and social intelligence. Now, after COVID pandemic, the report says that HR has the highest turnover rate in last 12 months. Because HR has, a lot of things to do now. HR is no more only a simple person who is looking after payroll, salary, and recruitment. HR is now a strategic partner to the organization. So magnitude of challenges impacting the HR and provide them with the enhanced training, access to coaching and recognition and appreciation may help to lessen the burnout among the HR fraternity. So role of HR in the coming future work is, as I said, it is a strategic partner. HR has to now start automating the routine processes, refocus on advertising the top management instead of attending a routine administrative task, fostering the culture of innovation, talk about employees' well-being, then work on DEI. So that is going to be way ahead for coming days for the organization. So I'm open for discussion. Thank you all.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. I, Mariam Fatma, along with Kriti Bhushan, is here to present our paper on the topic breaking the gender bias domestic violence. As we all have heard and often read newspapers and came across the headlines such as woman kills husband, tries to pass death of as due to COVID, arrested. As as a headline given in Hindustan Times. There was another headline in NDTV which says Delhi woman alleged kills in-laws husband was at home during crime. There are many more such headlines, but often they go undiscussed. Through the paper, we aim at breaking the gender bias. It's time we understand that domestic abuse has nothing to do with gender. Domestic abuse has more to do with mental power dynamics within a relation when it than it does with physical violence. There must be gender neutral laws and law reforms. Domestic abuse does not discriminate gender. It is an issue faced by millions of people worldwide. So it predominantly, although it is predominantly associated with females, while men are also victims of domestic violence at large. However, due to societal gender discrimination and prejudice, domestic violence against men is frequently unrecognized and unreported. And it is a sad reality that in the existing laws of the country, there is no such law which actually protects the interests of the men in domestic violence.
Now, I would like to explain who is the aggrieved person in domestic violence. According to Section 2A of the Domestic Violence Act 2005, aggrieved person means any woman who is or has been in a domestic relationship with a respondent and who alleges to have been subjected to any act of domestic violence by the respondent. Now, by looking at this definition of Section 2A of Domestic Violence Act 2005, this definition has limited the scope to only females, clearly ignoring the ambit of domestic violence against men. The Act does not differentiate between the men and women in a shared household, but focuses on victims of only one gender. Men are physically strong, but that does not mean that they are immune to violence by their counter spouse. And when a wife hits her husband, it is also physical violence as per the logical definition. The only difference is that such violence is not legally recognized when it comes to men being victims. In such cases, even the domestic violence lawyers are of no help.
Domestic violence as given under Section 498A of IPC. The Supreme Court of India has termed IPC Section 498A as a legal terrorism way back in the year 2005 in the case of Sushil Kumar Sharma versus Union of India. But not much has changed since then. Modern urban educated women are still using it as a weapon to harass, humiliate, and settle their scores with their in laws. Indian Penal Code 1860, Section 498A states that only men can be held accountable for treating his wife cruelly. The law does not attain any provision or subsection that would hold a woman accountable for domestic violence. No one, not even police, pay attention to male who try to speak up and report the physical abuse and torture they are subject to. And we still question what is the need of gender neutral laws? When a man complains about domestic abuse in Indian society, he is labeled as fable, weak. As we all know, as we all have commonly heard the statement, "मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता." So we are here to target that stereotype statement. Many men think that situations will get better shortly because of this reason. Too, they do not report such domestic violence. Any type of violence, whether physical or mental, is a gross violence of human rights. Unreported case of domestic violence can ultimately lead to separation, bitter fights, divorce, depression, and even suicidal thoughts.
Now, I would like to explain some database and judicial opinions in which the victims of domestic violence were men. First is PGIMS, Rohtak and Maharishi Markandeshwar Institute of Medical Science and Research, in which Ambala professors conducted a cross-sectional study of gender-based violence against men in the rural areas of Haryana in 2019, in which they find out that 52.4% of men experience gender-based violence. Second, out of 1,000 males, 51.5% experience violence at the hands of their wife's intimate partner at least once in their lifetime, and 10.5% in the last 12 months. Third was the most common spousal violence was emotional violence. That was 51.6%, followed by physical violence, that was 6%. Only in the one-tenth of the case, physical assaults were severe. Second report is Malimat Committee Report 2003, in which the reforms in the criminal justice system noted that the general complaint of Section 498A of the IPC is subject to gross misuse. The Supreme Court of India had termed IPC Section 498A as legal terrorism way back in the year 2005, but not much has changed since. Modern urban educated women are still using it as a weapon to harass, humiliate, and settle scores with their in-laws. Third study was, according to various studies, domestic violence against men is more common than many people realize. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) estimated that 1 in 7 men, 14% in the United States, have experienced severe physical violence by an intimate partner at some point in their lives. Now, I would like to discuss one case, that is Savitri Devi and Ramesh Chandra and others case. In this case, the Honorable Court specifically regulates the abuse connected with the manipulation of the laws to such an extent that it was totally influenced by the influence of marriage itself, and thus found not to be intelligent for the welfare of the giant community. The court considered that authorities and lawmakers had to review the case and the legal provisions to prevent it from happening.
As we can see, the graphical representation, which says that about 1 in 3 women are subject to domestic violence, but we also have a data which says 1 in 4 men are also subject to domestic violence. Change is the only constant, and the Constitution of India is a living document. Therefore, the provisions of the Constitution are amended to live up to the changing society. When we say female are the only victims of domestic violence, we directly attack on the right of life with dignity in respect to men. Acts that once were considered immoral, unjust, and illogical are today being recognized as a part of person's dignity and liberty. We draw our inspiration from the case landmark judgment Navjit Singh Johar versus Union of India, in which the court struck down the illegality that the constitution had instilled in the same-sex intercourse. We can look at the case of Arsha Kumar versus State of Bihar, where it was held that cruelty under Section 498A can be done against a husband by a wife. Furthermore, the provision of adultery was struck down, pulling out women from the clutch of being treated as the property of the man or the husband. One thing to be noted is that the transformation of law that come to deal with the changes posed by the changing time and ever evolving human tendency. Earlier, women were a part of marginalized society where they were victim of all sort of crimes, but there was no law to protect them. Slowly, with changing time, the legislation took steps and brought laws to protect their interest. But when we talk about 21st century, it is time to again amend the same laws because it's time to make the laws more gender neutral. In the case, of Haril Pal versus excuse me, ma'am, is the presentation still there?
Ma'am, is everything
Excuse
okay?
me, ma'am. Ma'am, is the presentation still there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was not
Please
moving
continue
forward.
and try to finish fast, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I will just wrap up by concluding that. After going through the database and the present case laws and ruling given by the Supreme Court, we have come to the conclusion that the legislation needs to make laws to fulfill the spirit of fundamental rights, especially to protect the right, Article 14 and Article 21.
Now, I would like to explain the societal attitudes towards domestic violence against men. Societal attitudes towards domestic violence against men vary widely across different cultures and regions. Historically, domestic violence has been viewed as a problem primarily affecting women, and there has been relatively little attention paid to male victims of domestic violence. However, in recent years, there has been increasing recognition of the prevalence and seriousness of domestic violence against men, and many organizations and advocates are working to raise awareness of this issue. Some studies suggested that men are just likely to be victim of domestic violence as women, although men are less likely to report the abuse or seek help. Despite this growing awareness, many societal attitudes towards domestic violence against men still reflect traditional gender stereotypes and biases. For example, some people may believe that men are inherently stronger and more capable of defending themselves than women, and therefore less is need of support and protection. However, societal norms and cultural factors may prevent men from coming forward and reporting incidents of domestic violence. The Indian government has taken some steps to address this issue by launching campaigns to encourage men to speak about their experiences and seek legal recourse.
Therefore, we conclude our paper by saying that domestic violence against men is a serious issue that is often overlooked or misused by society. It is important to recognize that men can also be victim of domestic violence and they deserve the same level of support and protection as women. Literature and laws of a society are clear reflection of the mindset of the people. Therefore, the legislation needs to introduce and amend the laws to make it more gender neutral, as the society must aim at constructive harmony. Studies have shown that men can experience a range of physical, emotional, and psychological abuse by their partners. However, due to social and cultural factors, many men may feel ashamed or be afraid to report such abuse, which can make it more difficult to seek help. It is essential to create safe space and resource for men to seek help and support when they are experiencing domestic violence. This can include counseling services, helpline, and other facilities. All over, domestic violence is a serious issue that affects people of all gender. Thank you.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Natmethi Tuchinda from the King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Ladkrabang from Thailand. Today, I'm proud to present my research, R&G Portfolio Diversification Optimization Model of the Thailand. For the introduction, COVID-19 had resulted in decreased energy demand, but it also contributed to the decreased LNG price. With the decreasing of the price, it affects to the many countries, especially the developing country, to transfer from coal and oil to LNG as a cleaner fuel source. With the detail Asia Pacific, which is the largest market of the LNG, is a highly competitive market in the LNG. Thailand are one of Asia Pacific region, understood the occurrence, but with the unchanged stable structure and the coming of depleted reserve natural gas, Thai plan to increase the reliance of the LNG. The possible option for LNG policy is studied in the previous study, but none of the paper present an option that consolidate the current Thailand policy. Moreover, the paper about LNG supply using the portfolio optimization for finding the policy is not published. So in this study, we use the portfolio optimization as a tool for providing an alternative policy for Thailand. For methodology, the portfolio selection for Thailand LNG supply is created based on the Thailand present natural gas condition and the LNG market. The raw data from the available source is converted to be the usable before being programmed into the multi-objective optimization model to provide the optimal solution. The study is divided into the three parts. The first part is the historical test between the model output and the Thailand policy to find the accuracy of the model. For the second part, it examines the Thailand decision if the demand spikingly increase. In this study, the demand is increased by 25 and 50%. Finally, the final part is the sensitivity analysis of the political and security risk for determining the resistance of the LNG policy decision. To find the optimal solutions of the LNG policy, in this study, the program has been constructed as a multi-objective. The objectives are the risks that influence the LNG supply, the economic, the political, and the security risk is selected to be the objective for providing the best portfolio of Thailand LNG supply. In the model, the objective function has been compiled by each mentioned objective and weighted by each weight value. In the base case, the weight value of the economic, political, and security are 0.5 and 0.1 consequently. For the constraint function, the function in the LNG portfolio optimization model consists of the several constraints associated with the LNG supply decision. In this study, the constraints as follows: diversification of LNG supply source, available volume of the LNG exporting country, demands of the importing country, long-term contract, and regasification capacity. For the deeper detail of each function, it has been shown in the proceeding. For result, in the historical test, the results show that the total volume of the output and the current policy is different by 3%. And output show that the pattern of the LNG supply, that the highest imported volume is lower than the current policy. With the result, it reflects that the model offers the pattern that dependency on a single supplier is lower than the current policy, which is the lower effect of the political risk. In addition, with the supplier selection, the detail demonstrates that the supplier considered by the natural gas price. In the case of increased demand, if the demand increased by 25 and 50%, Malaysia, Brunei, and Australia are selected to be the supplier for Thailand because the price of each is much more competitive compared with the other supplier. So it reflects that Thailand should further import the gas from supplier with a low price for economic advantage. It result also exhibit that LNG from Qatar is always import because of its long-term contracts. And even the demand increase, LNG from Qatar is only import by the same volume. In the sensitivity analysis, in the high weighting of the security risk, the decision is not changed when the security risk is be increased. With the detail, it shows that because of geographical closeness of the supplier nations, the risk connect with the security of shipping routes had no effect on the LNG supply. Unlikely the risk of the security, in the high weighting of the political risk, the decision of Thailand LNG policy has been changed. It shows that the risk associated with the politics of the supplier country is influenced in the decision of Thailand LNG supply. It exhibits that the political factor should be concerned for further policy planning. For the conclusion, with the output of the portfolio optimization of Thailand LNG supply, we have found as follows. With the highly competitive LNG price for Thailand, Malaysia, Brunei, and Australia are available to be the supplier of Thailand. From the indicator of increase of demand, LNG from Qatar is not be increased. The details show that there are a couple of inadaptive of competitivity of the LNG price. LNG from Qatar is imported by only an equal volume of the contract. The risk associated with the shipping is no effect to Thailand LNG supply because of the geographical closeness of the supplier country. However, the risk connect with the politics of supplier nation is influenced by the decision of the supply. So the political factor should be concerned for the further policy planning. Thank you.